Hebrews chapter 11. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things not seen. Because of it, the ancients were well attested. By faith, we understand that the universe was ordered by the word of God, so that the visible came into being through the invisible. By faith, Abel offered to God a greater sacrifice than Cain. Through this he was attested to be righteous, God bearing witness to his gifts. And through this, though dead, he still speaks. By faith, Enoch was taken up so that he should not see death. And he was found no more, for God had taken him. But before he was taken up, he was attested to have pleased God. Without faith, it is impossible to please him. Everyone who approaches God must first believe that he exists and that he rewards those who seek him. By faith, Noah, warned about what was not yet seen, with reverence, built the ark for the salvation of his household. Through this, he condemned the world and inherited the righteousness that comes through faith. By faith, Abraham obeyed when called to go out to a land he was to receive as an inheritance. He went out not knowing where he was to go. By faith, he sojourned in the promised land as in a foreign country, dwelling in tents with Isaac and Jacob, heirs of the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and maker is God. By faith, Abraham was given the ability to have children, even though he was past the normal age, and Sarah herself was sterile. He thought that the one who made the promise was trustworthy, and so it was that there came forth through one man, himself as good as dead, descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and as countless as the sands on the seashore. All these died in faith. They did not receive what had been promised, but they saw it, and they greeted it from afar, and acknowledged themselves to be strangers and aliens on the earth. Those who speak this way show that they are seeking a homeland. If they had been thinking about the land from which they had come, they had every opportunity to return. But now they seek a better homeland, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. By faith, Abraham, when put to the test, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promise was ready to offer up his only son, of whom it was testified through Isaac, descendants shall bear your name. For he reasoned that God was able to raise even from the dead, and he received Isaac back as a symbol. By faith, Isaac, regarding the things still to come, blessed Jacob and Esau. By faith, Jacob, when dying, blessed each of the sons of Joseph and bowed in worship, leaning on the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when nearing the end of his life, spoke of the exodus of the Israelites and gave instructions concerning his bones. By faith, Moses was hidden for 3 months after his birth by his parents, for they saw he was a beautiful child, and they did not fear the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he had grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be ill treated along with the people of God rather than enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin. He considered the reproach of Christ as greater wealth than all the treasures of Egypt. By faith, Moses left Egypt, and he persevered as though seeing the invisible one, for he did not fear the king's fury. By faith, Moses kept the Passover and sprinkled the blood so that the destroyer of the firstborn might not touch them. By faith, they crossed the Red Sea as though it were dry land, and when the Egyptians attempted it, they were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell after being encircled for 7 days. By faith, Rahab the prostitute did not perish with the disobedient, for she had received the spies in peace. What more can I say? I do not have time to speak of Gideon, Barak, Samson, Jephthah, of David and Samuel, and of the prophets. By faith, they conquered kingdoms. They enforced justice, obtained the promises. They closed the mouths of lions, put out raging fires, escaped the devouring sword. Out of weakness, they were made powerful. They became strong in battle and turned back foreign invaders. Women received back their dead through resurrection, and others refused to accept deliverance in order to receive a better resurrection. Still others endured scourging, mockery, even chains and imprisonment. They were made to wear the skins of goats and sheep. They were stoned to death, sawed in two, put to death by the sword. They were needy, afflicted, and tormented. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered about in deserts and on mountains, in caves and in crevices of the earth. Yet all these, though approved because of their faith, did not receive what had been promised, for God had foreseen something better for us, that without us, they should not be made perfect.